So I think one of the big topics that's coming out right now across Canada is pay transparency. I don't know if you saw, Mike, that BC opened up with pay transparency for their roles. So it is increasingly coming out, and PEI in Ontario have done it as well. So for employers still asking, should we, they're now officially behind. But for the ones asking, how do we, how can they prepare for this transition?
It's a great question. And it's not going away. And I know in some provinces might be slow to do it, or some states might be slow to do it, but it's coming and it's spreading, and it's gonna, it's to the point where it's like, well, you can't even post a job in those provinces unless you're sharing that information, right? So the biggest piece that has to happen is you have to have that structure built within your organization first. It has to be set and clear, and that's probably the thing it's going to take a ton of work, because you can't go sharing, well, here's the salary range, and here's what we think the bonus target might be if you have 5 people in the same job, but 4 of them have a different bonus target, or 5 people in the same job and they're paid, $80,000 spread, and you're not even comfortable with that spread, but you're just like, well, that's kind of where they're at. Or you don't even know if those 5 people are at the same level because you've never done kind of a big benchmarking review. Are you paying on performance? Are you paying on level? Are you paying on specialization? So that biggest piece, it comes back to that benchmarking to ground that in, to say, we're confident that this is the level these people are working at. This is the job that they're doing. This is how we would stack these people internally, having that a solid structure, because then you can layer in, okay, well, these are the ranges that we would expect to pay. This is the bonus target we might have. This is the equity we might be offering, that type of thing. And then you can share that. But you can't share anything unless you get all that stuff cleaned up. Because if you have someone that leaves and they were at a 10% bonus target, their replacement gets hired at a 14% target, and you have a lawsuit on your hand because they say, well, you were underpaying me because I'm a minority, or I'm a category that I think that you were mistreating me. So there's serious ramifications that can be coming even outside of well, we want to post a job. Well, we'll just give a huge range and then it'll kind of cover it. And those ranges, they're going to become more and more narrow. I know in California, like when they first started talking about this disclosure, or saying, you have to post salary ranges, they said, okay, fine, 50,000 to 250,000. But I think that the rules are going to start to clamp down even on that and say this has to be a reasonable expectation. And anyways, there's a lot of reasons to do it, but I think the biggest hurdle is having your own house in order and having a structure that you can lean on. That's going to be the biggest challenge.
Having your own house in order, that's a fantastic point, especially for anyone that's in a smaller size company, medium sized company. I mean, this is your advantage right now. I mean, it's a tough job overall, but it's a much easier job for those folks than it would be for the enterprise level companies. Like, talk about having that competitive advantage with salary transparency. It's going to take years upon years for that giant 10,000 plus employee company to get their house in order versus like the 800 person company.
Or they're gonna start to kind of give a range that just means nothing, or levels that kind of don't mean anything. Like, say, well, either you're executive or you're non-executive. Like, it'll be too generic that almost just doesn't mean anything. Yeah, and I think that they're gonna face some serious hurdles trying to post jobs in certain regions.